Hello everyone, I am Shubham Garg. I am your host during this session, Brick Breaker game using Java. Alright, due to some technical glitch, we were not able to host this webinar live, but that's okay. We have made this video and you can always ask your doubt in the comment section. So I welcome you all to the webinar conducted by ADCB Innovations on Brick Breaker game using Java. Before beginning with the webinar, I want to tell you guys why I made this project. Alright, see, most of the time we do coding, or as a developer when we develop something, it is mostly for a company's sake, or to get an internship, to get a perfect job, or to win a competition, all that causes. And that is good for one purpose, but most of the times we forget what is the real reason why we code. What is the real reason why we use our time, use our creativity to do all the programming and stuff. Alright, so to make you see that purpose, that is why I am hosting this webinar. That is, which was my purpose to make this Brick Breaker game using Java, was to have fun. Alright, it was not meant to be made to get a job in a company or to get an internship or something. It was just I made this project to have some fun during coding. Alright, and that is how our approach should be. I mean, I'm not saying that to code for getting a job or internship is wrong. That's absolutely right. But at times we must know to have fun while learning. Alright. This makes the learning process a lot easier. So now, without wasting any much time, let us begin with the webinar. Alright. First of all, I'm going to show you 3 to 4 slides in which I'm going to tell you what we are going to do in our code. Alright, so as most of you know, the Brick Breaker game is the classic game. So first let me show you how our final project will look like. Alright, so most of you have played this game in your childhood. So here I have this already made project, and when I will run, you can see here, this is the classic Brick Breaker game. Now, when I use the arrow key to move the slider, the game starts. And you can see here, the bricks are getting dissolved, and we can control the ball using the slider. And you can see on the top, the score is increasing as we hit the bricks, as we break the bricks. Alright. So here, if we miss the ball, it shows game over and our scores. And it gives us an option to press enter to restart. Alright. So this is how our final project is going to look like. So let us dig into our project. So let me just show you what in 3 parts what will we be doing in the code. Alright. So our code will be consisting of 3 classes. First one is main.java class. Alright. Second one is gameplay.java class. And third one is mapgenerator.java. So let's see what we are going to do in this class. So first of all, in the main class, we are going to set the frame, that is the window you just saw, for the layout of the game. Alright, and we are going to call the objects from the gameplay class. Okay, so because that is the main class, so the objects will be called here. And in the gameplay class, we are going to implement everything, every functionality. That is, we are going to implement the methods about when the key is pressed or any action is performed. We will declare all the variables. We will declare different functions, graphics, and the functions controlling score and game over you just saw. Okay, and we will also create the actions like what will happen when the ball hits the brick or when the ball hits a wall. Okay, these things we are going to do. That is, the main control is in the gameplay.java class. Alright. And third and the final class, that is mapgenerator.java. Okay, basically you saw the layout in which there were a lot of bricks. Okay, so basically these bricks are made using we are going to make these bricks using for loops and double for loops, that is as a row and a column. Alright, that is, we are going to generate the whole map, and this we are going to do using this we are going to do in mapgenerator.java class. Alright, so these are the 3 classes which we are going to use in our project. Alright, so let us start building the project. I hope you all are excited. So let's just go, first of all, create a new project. So I'm going to go to File, New Project. Okay, just a second. New Java project, and I'm going to name it Brick Breaker ADCB Innovations. Alright, so I'm going to click Finish. Okay, so now here we have our new project. Alright, so let me just use magnifier so you can see better. So now here this is our project, Brick Breaker ADCB Innovations. Okay, so in the source directory, first of all, we are going to do is create 3 classes, as I told just now. Okay, first of all, we are going to create a class that is main.java. Okay, next we are going to create another class that is gameplay.java. And a third and the final class that is mapgenerator.java. So now we have our 3 classes ready, that is main.java, gameplay.java and mapgenerator.java. Alright, so first of all, what we are going to do is we are going to start with the code in the main. Okay, so before starting, I am just going to test our IDE for once, that if it is working fine. Although we just saw running the previous app, so it is working fine, but it is always a good practice to test by making a hello world program to see if everything is correct. All right, so we are going to declare the main function. Okay, so now here I am going to write the basic hello world command. And let's see if it works or not. Okay, so I'm going to run our application. Okay, so here we can see in the output console that is hello world. So that means our project is set up successfully. Okay, so I will just delete this hello world. All right. Okay, so in the main function now, first of all, what we are going to do is we are going to create a JFrame for the layout of the game. Okay, that is the frame which you just saw in which the game resides. So first of all, I am going to create a JFrame object, that is JFrame obj is equal to new JFrame. Alright, so here there is an error. It is because we have to import the JFrame library from Swing. Okay, so just hover here and click on import. The error gets resolved. Alright, so now we are going to set up the parameters, the coordinates of our frame. Alright, so we are going to use for that this obj object which we just created. So we are going to use obj.setBounds. So I am going to put the coordinates here as 10, 10, 700 and 600. Alright, so now next thing I am going to do is set title. So for title I am going to use Brick Breaker. Alright, next thing which I am going to do is I am going to set the resizable property as false. Okay, set resizable as false because we don't want our window to be resized. Alright, next thing is object.set visible and it is going to be true. So now I am going to set object.set default close operation, that is jframe.exit on close. Alright, so these are the JFrame objects, and now let's just run the application to see if we get our frame. Okay, so here you can see we get our basic frame, that is brick breaker with the title, and this is the frame. As you can see, it is not resizable because we have set resizable is equal to false. Okay, so this is our basic frame. So now next thing which we are going to do is we are going to create an object for the gameplay class. Alright, so here I am going to declare an object for gameplay class, that is gameplay is equal to new gameplay. Alright, so here, okay, now next, using that object, I am going to just add the gameplay object in the JFrame. Okay, so object dot add, and I'm going to write here gameplay. Alright, so let's hover here and just a second. Okay, yeah, that we have not extended any class or inherited any class like JPanel or anything in the gameplay, so that's why it is showing error. So let's just add here so that the error can be resolved. Okay, so now come into the gameplay.java class. So write this line public. So here it is already there, public class gameplay. Now we are going to extend the following classes, that is extends JPanel and implements key listener, comma action listener. Alright, these are for to press the key or to create the functions for any action performed. Alright, so now we are going to import key listener and action listener and JPanel. So now as you can see, we have extended all the following, but now it is showing error that methods are unimplemented. Okay, so now we are going to implement the methods like when the key is pressed, when the key is released, all these kind of methods. So we have two options, either to declare all the methods manually, or we can just click here to add an implemented method. So we are going to click here, just add an implemented methods, and all the methods are generated. Alright, so here you can see this error for add is also gone. Okay, so now let's just save main.java and let's just come back to the gameplay.java. Okay, so now in the gameplay.java we are going to declare, first of all we are going to declare some variables. So I will just minimize it. Okay, wait a second, it is again showing this error. Okay, I think we have made, okay, let's just do one thing. Alright, okay, now it is gone, we haven't saved it yet. Okay, so now it is fine. So now we are going to declare some variables in our gameplay.java class. Alright, so first of all we are going to declare private boolean play, and we are going to set it as false. This is basically that we don't want the game to be started the moment the project runs. Okay, we need to start the game when we press any arrow key. Alright, like you just saw before when I ran the program. So now next I am going to declare the variable int, that is for the score, and initially I am going to set it to 0. Next thing I am going to set is the number of bricks. Alright, so if you have seen carefully, when I showed you the project, there were 21 number of bricks. Alright, so here we are going to set up the number of bricks as we want to. Total bricks are 21. Alright, so now next thing is we are going to set timer. Okay, timer and delay to control the speed of the ball. Alright, so now here it will show error, so you need to import timer and make sure to import the Java X.Swing library for the timer, not any else. Alright. So next thing is private int delay, and we are going to set its value to 8. Alright. So now next thing, we are going to set up the position of the player and the balls. Okay, so we are going to declare private int, let's say player X, which is the position is 310. Okay, now let's set the position of ball, that is private int ball position X, which is equal to 120. As you if you remember when I show you the video, okay, let me just show you again. Okay, you will recall better. So here was the project, and let me just run this. Okay, so here you can see this slider is at some position, that is player X position, and the ball is at this position, and that is what we are going to we are setting just now, that is ball X position and Y position. And as you can see, there are 21 bricks and the score is set 0. Alright, so the gameplay is false, that's why it is not yet started. It is only getting started when I press any arrow key. Alright, so like here. Okay, so here, let me just close this and let's come back to our code. So private int, okay, just let me minimize it. Yeah, so private int ball position Y, that is for the Y coordinate, we are going to set it as 350. Alright, so now private int ball X direction, which is -1, and private int ball Y direction, which is -2. Alright, so now next thing, which we are going to set a variable for a map generator class. Actually we are going to use it later on, but let's just declare it now. Okay, and we'll come back to it later. So private map generator, okay, let's say it is map. So now our declarations are almost complete. Okay, so now next thing we are going to do is we are going to implement a function. Alright, that is public gameplay. Okay, so we are implementing the gameplay function. So here what we are going to do is we are going to use this map. Alright, in this gameplay function, okay, we are going to add the key listener and generate a map. Okay, and we'll also add the timer in this gameplay function. So we are going to use this map is equal to new map generator. Okay, 3/7, because we need a grid of 3/7 to support 21 breaks. Alright, generator. Okay, yeah, just a second here. So now we are going to use add key listener and this. Okay, next we are going to do is set focusable. Okay, don't worry about that error, we are going to resolve it soon. Alright, so set focusable true. Okay, next thing we need to set focus traversal keys and enable, that is false. Okay, next thing is timer, which is equal to new timer and delay comma this. Alright, okay, we have, okay, here is time only, timer, yeah. So now this is fine. So now here we are going to use timer dot start. All right. So this is our public gameplay function. All right. So now in the after the gameplay function, we are going to set up the graphics. Okay. So let us just comment it here. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Let's just do leave it here like this. Okay. We will add 3,7 later when we set the grid in map generator.java. All right, so now we are going to add the graphics which we are going to use. So for that we are going to use the function public void paint graphics g. So now first of all we are going to set up the background. So for background we are going to use the color as black. So g.set color color.black, and now I am going to fill the color g.fill rectangle because our layout is a rectangle and the coordinates will be 1 1 692 and 592. All right. Okay, so just hover here on the color. Okay, just a second. Okay, I don't know why it is not showing to automatically implement, but let's just copy here and import it manually. So here import and just paste it. So now our error must have been resolved. Let's just see. Yes, the error has been resolved. All right, so now next thing, we have set the background. Now we are going to draw the map. All right, so here map.draw. For this we are going to use graphics 2D because it is a 2D map and G. All right, so just hover here and okay, we can just add the method. We are going to create the method later, or we can just create now and we will fill the details in later. All right, so we have created this graphics 2DG method. So now just import it. Okay, here it is again showing error. Just let me see once. So yeah, it is showing error for this for drawing the map. All right, so just let me see. It is because actually the method draw refers to the missing type graphics 2D. All right, so let's just say okay. So now, yeah, we have not imported the AWT graphics 2D in that. So that's why it was showing error. And now the error has been resolved. So let us come back to declaring our other parameters. Okay, other graphic parameters. So now we are going to set the borders. Okay, so let me just first run the program the way it is now. And let me just show you what we have accomplished so far. Okay, sorry, that was the previous game. Here, so as you can see, this is the layout and we have filled the rectangle. that is filled with black color. Okay, this is our layout, and there is black color filled all over it because we have set the background black. So now here is let's just declare the borders. As you have seen, there was a very light yellow line in the borders. Okay, that is what we are going to set up now. So we are going to set g.setColor, and here we are going to choose color.yellow, or let's say we choose the color green. All right, just for a change, we use the color green, and now we are going to fill the left, right, and top. Okay, with that color. Because we need the color in left, right, and top border. Okay, and not in the bottom, because the ball has to go down inside in the bottom. Okay, so here we are going to write the coordinates like this. So first thing is 003 and 592. Now next again for left, right, and top. Okay, I'm going to just copy and paste it. And now I'm going to change the value, that is 692, and this will be 3. Okay, so now here this one this will be 691, and rest will be the same. All right, so now next thing is the paddle, that is the slider which you have seen. Okay, so for the paddle we are going to use the red color. So g.setColor, that is color.red. All right, next thing is g.fill rectangle, and that is I'm going to do with player X, the position of player X, then 550 and 100 and 8. All right, so now next thing is the ball. All right, to set the ball, to set the color, we are going to again use g.setColor, that is color.white. Okay, so we are going to set our ball to white. Oops, yeah. So now we need our ball to be circle, so g.fill oval. All right, so here we are going to fill ball position X, ball position Y, and 20 and 20. All right, so now let us just run the program and see what we have accomplished so far. So let's just run. So here, as you can see, here is the slider and here is the ball, and you can see here it is the green color border which is appearing in this game. All right, so now we have set the graphics. Now we are going to see, we are going to set what will happen if any key is pressed. Okay, so we will come to our function key pressed event. All right, so here in public void key pressed key event T, we are going to declare what will happen if we press the left key, the right key. Okay, and later on we will declare what will happen by pressing the enter key, which we need to restart the game. Okay, so first of all we are going to declare for left and right key. Okay, so for that I am going to use an if statement, that is if e.get key code. Okay, if e.get key code is equal to key event, that is vk right. All right, that is if the right key is pressed. So key event dot vk right. Okay, just a second, get key code, yeah, is equal to vk right. Now if the right key is pressed, what we need to do, first of all we are going to check that if the player is not at the rightmost corner. All right, if the player is already, the slider is already at the rightmost corner, then we don't want it to move right. All right, so we are going to see if player X is greater than equal to 600. So now if the right key is pressed and player X is already at the rightmost border, then what we need the position of the player, but even after pressing the right key, is 600. Okay, so player, if he or she is at the rightmost corner, then even after pressing the right key, the slider will not move towards the right. Alright, it will stay at the position 600. Now next thing, else if the slider is not in the rightmost position, then we need to move the slider right. Okay, so for that we are going to declare a method move right. Okay, so let's just write this method here and just hover it and create method. Okay, so we are going to write the code in a second, but first declare what happens if we press the left key. Alright, so again I am going to copy this code, and here if e dot so here in the vk we need to do vk left. Alright, so now here we need to check if the player is not at the leftmost corner. Alright, so if player is at less than equal to 10, then we need the position to be as 10. Alright, we don't need player to move more left if it is already at the leftmost position. Alright, else we need him to move left. Alright, so let us just declare this method also. Let us create this method move left. Okay, so now let us define both of these methods. So here we have our move left and move right methods. Okay, so first of all we are going to define the move right. So in the move right, if the player is not at rightmost corner, then he should move right. So first of all, the play is equal to true. Initially, as you remember, it was false. So by moving right, it should be true now. And next, player X, the position will be going to increase by 20. Alright, once the right key is pressed, the position of the slider will be increased by 20. Similarly, in the left, by pressing the left key, if the position, the play is true, and the position will decrease by 20. Okay, because we need to move 20 points to the left, and in move right we need to move 20 points to the right. Alright, so now we have moved left and we have moved right. So now we are going to write this function, that is action performed. Alright, so let's just move to this function. So here we have our action performed function. So let us write some code here. So now when the action is performed, what we need is we need to start the timer. Alright, timer dot start, because of that delay only the ball will go and come during that particular timer. Okay, so now we have done this. Now we have to declare what will happen if the ball collides with the bricks. Okay, so we have to write the code for that. So now first of all we need to see what will happen if the ball hits the wall. Okay, so when it hits the wall or it collides with the wall, we need it to bounce back only if it hits the left, right or top wall. Okay, if it goes down, then we need to do then the game is over. So we will declare what will happen if the ball hits left, right or up. Okay, so now for that, in the action performed function, we are going to write the code, that is ball position X is ball X direction. Alright, and similarly the ball position Y is plus n equal to ball Y direction. Alright, so now this will change to these. Now we are going to see the collisions, that is if ball position X is less than 0, then ball X direction will be equal to ball X direction minus the previous ball X direction. Alright, so here similarly for ball position Y, okay, let me just copy and paste, and similarly for the top, Okay, so first of all the ball position Y. So here I am going to change it to Y. Okay, capital Y, and again capital Y. So now if the position is greater than 670, alright, so we are going to ball x direction will be equal to or minus ball x direction. Alright, so after all these conditions, okay, if no condition is satisfied, then that means the ball has gone down. Okay, when the ball is have gone down, all right, what we need to do is we need to display all that game over stuff, and we need to repaint all our blocks, all the bricks, the ball, and the slider. All right, so we are going to use repaint. Okay, just a second. Let me just see why it is showing this error. Okay, we have moved out of the function. Yeah, just a second. Now it is fine. All right. So now what we are going to do, we are going to basically add the positions at the intersection of the rectangle. All right. So now let me just do it here. If play, as the play is true, if the play is true, then now we are going to use another if condition, that is new rectangle. All right, ball position X, ball position Y, and 20,20. All right, then it is going to intersects again new rectangle. All right, this is basically we are defining for the collision. Okay, so for here player X, comma 550, comma 100, and comma 8. All right, so let me just hover here and import rectangle. Okay, so if this is the condition, then ball Y direction is equal to minus ball Y direction. Okay, so now here we have done this condition. So let me just, okay, we had to cover this if here, and if that is the condition, then it should be repainted. All right, so it is here, yes. So now here what happens if basically in playing, if the one rectangle intersects, basically the ball intersects with the rectangle, okay, then what we need to do is change the Y position of the ball. All right, and this is how the X position and Y position is going to change otherwise. And if the ball hits wall, then these changes will occur, and after that basically if the ball goes down, then it is going to repaint. All right, so now we have entered some data for the collisions. Okay, we have defined how the collisions will occur. So now let's just make the map. All right, let us make the map of 7x3, that is 21 bricks in the rows and columns in the form of a matrix. All right, so for that we are going to go to mapgenerator.java. So now in mapgenerator.java, first of all, yeah, we have already declared this function. Okay, we will add data in this later. So now I'm going to make another function, that is, okay, now before making the function, I need to declare some variables. Okay, that is public int map, and this will be a 2D array. All right, so now next thing is public int brick width, that is the width of the brick which we are making. Next thing is public int brick height, so there is brick height. All right, So now next thing is public map generator. Okay, so here we are going to define int that is row and int that is column. So now if you remember, in the gameplay.java we have declared the map generator and it was showing error when I was writing 3,7. So that was because I have not declared the arguments in the function. We did just now, and we have declared int row and int column. So now I am going to write here 3,7, that is 3 rows and 7 columns, that is total of 21 bricks. Alright, so we'll just save it and we'll come back here. So we have generated our map. Now map will be the new int and we need the array of row and column. Alright, so now we are going to use the for loop, basically the double for loop, because as we always know that to create a matrix, to create that star program, we use double for loop. Alright, so for I is equal to 0, I is less than map.length and I plus plus. So now the next for loop, that is for the rows and columns, that is in j is equal to 0, j is going to be less than map array 0 dot length and j plus plus. Alright, so now we are going to write map I and j is equal to 1. Okay, int I, yeah. So now we have generated the map. Okay, let's just declare the brick width and brick height. Okay, so we are going to set the brick width as 540 divided by the column. Alright, and brick heights will be, and it is going to be 150 divided by the row. Alright, so these are the brick width and brick height. So now let us write the graphics function. Alright, first of all, here we are going to use again a double for loop. Okay, so for that, for int I is equal to 0, I is less than map.length, I plus plus, and the same thing basically. So I am just going to copy it and paste it. So here I am going to copy and paste it here. Okay, so now we do not need this thing. Okay, so in the loop, basically what we are going to do is we are going to add our conditions. Okay, so first of all, I am going to add if map I and j is greater than 0. Okay, so if map I and j are greater than 0, so we are going to set the color g.setColor, color.white. Okay, so all the basically we have used this double for loop to set the color of all the bricks. We need the color of all the bricks to be white. Alright, so here just hover on it and import color. Alright, next thing we need to do is to fill the rectangle, that is g.fill rectangle, because the bricks are rectangle, and that we are going to do like this, j.brick width, because we need whole brick to be filled with the same color. Alright, and plus 80. Next thing, I into brick width plus 50. Okay, next variable will be brick width and brick height. Brick height. Alright, so now I am going to set the stroke, that is g.setStroke, and this is going to be new basic stroke, and that is 3. Alright, so I am going to import it So now g dot set color. Basically, the set stroke we have used to set the border of the bricks. As you remember, we have all the bricks in the game were having a space. Okay, a very minute space between each one of them. Okay, let me just show you once. Here. So if I run this, here you can see there is a minute gap between all the bricks. So this is basically the stroke, set stroke, that is 3. Alright, so to make that gap, we have used the basic stroke as 3. And to set the color of that border, we are going to set the color as black. Alright, so it seems like there is a bit gap in the bricks. Alright, so it basically improves the appearance. Okay, so I have write color dot black. Okay, just give me a second here. Okay, I think I have forgot. Okay, right. Yes. Now it is fine. Yeah, I just forgot this curly bracket. Okay, so now g dot set color is color dot black. So now again we are going to draw a rectangle like we did here. We filled the rectangle, so now we are going to draw another rectangle. Okay, so here, and we are going to select it to draw rect. And the commands are going to remain the same. Alright, basically when the ball hits, we want it to go black. Alright, we want the white rectangle to be disappeared. So now we have done the graphics in the map generator. So here, let me just scroll up a bit. Yeah, nice. So after that, what we are going to do is now we are going to update the value of map, that is public void set brick value, and we are going to pass in int value, int row, and int column. Alright, so now just select map, row, column, and we are going to set it to value. So okay, yeah, that's it. So now our map generator.class is completed. Map generator.java class is completed. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to define the collision. Okay, previously we have defined the collision of the ball with the wall. Now we are going to define the what will happen if the ball collides with the brick. Alright, so here what we are going to do is we are going to go in the gameplay.java, and inside the gameplay.java class, okay, we will go in this action perform method. Alright, so basically in the action perform method, what we are going to do is we are going to define what will happen if the ball hits the bricks. Alright, so now below the repaint here, we need to write our code. So now first of all we are going to declare a for loop. Alright, that is for int I is equal to 0. Okay, just a second, I just moved out of here. Okay, so yeah, we are going to declare it here. Yep, so it will be easy to see. Okay, I is less than map dot length. All right, and I plus plus. All right, so if this is the condition, then we are going to use another for loop, that is for the column, that is j is equal to 0, j is less than map dot map of 0 dot length. Okay, so map 0 dot length. All right, and then j plus plus. So now if map, we are going to use an if condition, that is if map dot map I and j is greater than 0, then basically the int break x, we are going to say break x is equal to j into map dot break width okay plus ct, and we are going to declare another int break y is equal to I into map dot break height plus 50. Alright, so now what we are going to do, we are going to update the value of break width and break height. So here int break width is going to change as map dot break width, because we need to change it according to the map, and int break height will be equal to map dot break height now basically we need to update the rectangle. Okay, that is we need to declare rectangle is equal to new rectangle, and we are going to make a new rectangle using all the parameters which we declared just now. Alright, so now we are going to make it using break x, break y, break width and break height. Alright, these are the coordinates of the new rectangle which will be made. Okay, oh, sorry, break width and break height. Yeah. So now we are going to declare another rectangle, that is rectangle ball rectangle. Basically to make the rectangle, when the ball is hit by the rectangle, to make it disappear, we are going to create it as a new rectangle. Okay, so that is new rectangle, and we are going to mark the coordinates as ball position x, comma ball position y, comma 20, comma 20. All right, so now we are going to update the rectangle, that is rectangle break. Rectangle will be equal to rectangle r. Okay, so we have updated the value of break rectangle. So now we are going to use an if condition, that is if ball rectangle. Now we are going to define the collision. All right, so now if the ball rectangle intersects, okay, dot intersects break rectangle. All right, so now if the ball rectangle is intersecting the break rectangle, what we need to do is we need to set the break value of the map, that is map dot set break value as 0, I, j. All right, so okay, just a second, I and here j. Okay, and now we are after the collision we need to decrement the total number of breaks, that is total breaks minus minus. Okay, so here you see we have declared the variables of the rectangle, like rectangle when before the collision, and the ball rectangle, that is when the ball touches the rectangle. So now if the condition, if ball rectangle intersects the brick rectangle, that is our normal rectangle, then the brick value will be set as this. All right, that is 0 and I, j. That is the rectangle will disappear and the total bricks is going to decrement. All right, so here we need to do one more thing, that is we need to increment the score, that is score plus is equal to 5. Okay, so as on removing it, on intersecting every rectangle, that is destroying every brick, we need the score increment of 5. All right. So now this was our if condition. Now next thing about a collision. Okay. Now we are going to use another if condition, that is if ball position x, plus 19 is less than equal to brick rectangle dot x, or if ball position x plus 1 is greater than equal to brick rectangle dot x, alright, plus brick rectangle dot width. So now what we need in that case is we need to update the x coordinate, x direction of the ball, that is ball x direction is equal to minus ball x direction. Okay, so this will be updated. Now we are going to use else statement, else we need to update the ball y direction. Alright, it is basically updating the x and y direction after the intersection of the ball with the rectangle. Okay, that is when the ball collides with the rectangle. Okay, so if it collides from side, then it needs to update the x direction. If it collides from top, it needs to update the y direction. Okay, so now we are going to break this loop. Okay, so let's just name this loop A. So here, yeah. So this code is almost complete. Okay, so first of all, let's just see how far we have come through our game. So let's just run the project. Okay, sorry, this was the main project. Okay, yeah. So you can see here, we have come this far. Now you can see the collisions are happening, and we have declared all the bricks and everything. Okay, so now it is having just some kind of issues. It is showing some of the gaps, and we are going to fill that, don't worry. Okay, so basically yeah, I will see why these gaps are coming. Just let me see the code for once. Alright, maybe I have entered some wrong values somewhere. Alright, so let me just review the code here. So now everything seems fine. Ball position x is here. It is here, and 0 comma I comma j, it is also fine. The rectangle scores plus 5, it's fine. Okay, brick rectangle dot width, it is fine again. Okay, the ball position, everything is nice and tidy. Okay, yeah, so let's just, this is this for this, and this and this and this. Alright, so yeah, okay, just let it come here, and nice. Let's just save it and play once more. Okay, it is still doing the same thing. Now again, I think there is some issue in the map generated on Java. Okay, so because our map is not generated properly, so let me just see and we will resolve the issue. No problem. Just here it is, the brick width is this, height is this. Okay, j is equal to 0. All right, okay, this is also fine. I'm not able to see actually what the problem is. Let's just okay, let's just do a thing. I will okay, let us complete our code which is left, and then we will see what the problem is. All right, so first just leave this problem as it is now. Okay, so first of all we are going to declare another graphics that is for the scores. Okay, so in the graphics we are going to declare the scores. Yeah, right. So here the for the scores we are going to use g dot set color, that is color dot white. So now we are going to set the font, g dot set font, and we are going to use new font, that is serif, and we are going to make it bold, and this will be 25. That is the font size. Okay, let's just import the libraries. Import font. Okay, the comma should come here. Yeah, so now it is fine. Next we are going to write scores, that is by using drawstring. So g dot drawstring. So here score, and the coordinates I want to write score here are 590, 30. So now if we run the program, we will see here. Okay, sorry, we have to implement the scores, that is the string first. All right. So there will be the scores written. Okay, so we will enter the scores in the if condition, that is when the collision occurs. All right, so before that we are going to display the game over and the restart. Okay, so now basically here we are going to do is if ball position y is greater than equal to 570, is greater than 570. Okay, so basically here we need to play is equal to false. Ball x direction will be 0. Ball y direction is 0 as well. G dot set color will be color dot red. Okay, so now g dot set font, new font, I will just copy it again. Okay, so here I have just copied and pasted it. Okay, so I will just increase the size to 30. And now here I am going to write the scores, that is g dot drawstring. So now game over, and I am going to write the scores. Scores are going to be written as scores as plus score. All right, and now I'm going to write the coordinates as 190 and 300. Okay, here. Yeah. So now after writing this, what we need to write is press enter to restart. All right, so g dot set font as new font. So here, okay, let me just press some enters. Yeah, right. So basically g dot set font, that is new font, and we are going to set it as serif. Okay, so here font dot bold and 20. Okay, so I am going to set the size as 20. Now g dot draw string, press enter to restart. Okay, and I'm going to display it at the position 230 and 350. Alright, so here our if condition is over. Now after that we are going to use g.dispose. Okay, so basically we have declared our graphics. Now we will come to the key press event. Alright, so here we need to go to the function for key pressed event. Okay, where is that function? Yeah, right. So here it is, that is key pressed event, and we are going to declare the key pressed event for the key enter, the way we declared for left and right. Okay, so if e dot get key code, e dot get key code is equal to key event dot vk underscore enter. Okay, so that is if enter is pressed. So now if not play, alright, if it the game is not playing, then play is equal to true. And now we need to set everything back where it was initially, that is ball position x is 120, ball position y is going to be 350. Okay, ball x direction, it is going to be -1. We are setting everything to the initial values, alright, because we need the game to restart. Okay, we are going to change the scoreboard to 0 as well. Okay, so player x will be, that is the position of slider, will be 310. Score will come to 0. Total bricks will again be 21. Okay, and the map will be again a new map of 3x7, new map generator, that is 3,7. Alright, and now we need to use repaint. So this is done for the key press enter event. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to make sure to write the scores when a person won the game. Alright, this is the case if person loses and we need to restart the game. So now what if every brick is every brick has been broken and the person won the game. Okay, so for that we are going to write some code here. So now here what we are going to write is if, okay, just a second. Yeah, basically if total bricks is less than equal to 0, that is if all the bricks have been broken, then play is equal to false, we need to stop the game, and ball x direction is going to be 0. Okay, ball y direction is going to 0. Alright, g dot set color is going to be color dot red. Okay, so now here again I'm just going to copy all this. Yeah, nice. Okay, so we need to write U1 instead of game over. Alright, so I am going to write U1, and here we need to leave it as it is, that is press enter to restart. Alright, so let's just save it and let's just run our program. Okay, so here, yeah, everything else seems fine. We said see the game over, press enter to restart, it restarts, but there is this gap coming, and I need to figure out why. Basically I have set the strokes to 3. Let's see, there is some problem in strokes, although I have set it as 3, but let's just see for a moment. Okay, here it is, the new basic stroke, this is 3, it is also fine. Okay, let me just do one thing. I will just pause the video quickly for a while, and we'll see the error and we'll just continue the video from there. Alright, so let me just pause the video. Alright guys, I am back here and I found the mistake. Okay, so it was a silly mistake, a typo actually. So here, as you see, I just undoed the mistake, alright, which I have corrected. So here in the fill rectangle, I have used brick width, and then I have to use the brick height, but I used brick width again. Okay, that's why when let's just save it like this, and when I run it, there is this gap. Alright, so now when I go here and change it to brick height, and here to brick height, okay, and I just save it, and now when I run it, it comes properly aligned. Alright, so let's just minimize the magnifier and let's just see if it is working properly or not. Okay, so now the slider is moving, the score is getting incremented. Alright, so now the game is properly working, the bricks are breaking. Alright, so here the slider is moving as we want to. Now if it is at the rightmost corner, it doesn't move more, and same at the left. So now when the ball moves down, it shows game over and our score is 30, and press enter to restart. On pressing the enter, it is restarting the game. So this is how you make a simple classic brick breaker game using Java. It uses basically the applications of Java like Swing and applets. Okay, so this was our final project. I hope you guys like this project, and there was a little bit typo in this brick width, so sorry for that, and no worries, we have corrected it. So basically that is what our purpose is, to correct mistakes, to have fun. All right, it's not like it is any coding interview or something that I'm going to panic about having a typo. Okay, so I just paused video for a minute there and I corrected this. All right, so that is what the purpose of this webinar, which is to have fun while coding, to enjoy what you are doing. All right, not just do for the sake of jobs or internships or something. Okay, that is a fine goal, but you must learn to enjoy what you do, because if you enjoy what you are doing, then it becomes a game. All right, you started to have fun, you do something extraordinary in that field. All right, so now I am going to conclude this session. First of all, I am going to thank ADCB Innovations for this webinar. All right, and I'm going to tell you a few things about ADCB Innovations. Okay, so the ADCB Innovations believe everything we do, we believe in making this world a collaborative place rather than a competitive one. Okay, this is the motto of ADCB Innovations. That is why they do what they do. All right, basically they make this world a collaborative place by enhancing teamwork, skills, confidence, leadership, technology, and creativity. Okay, so we at ADCB Innovations provide live online certification technical courses, boot camps, projects, technical trainings, etc. Okay, you can click the link in the description to enroll for a course, or you can visit the social media platforms mentioned in the description to view more events, webinars, boot camps on our different social media handles. Okay, everything is mentioned in the description. Okay, so this is all for this webinar. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. I hope you had fun. Okay, so guys, I'm your host Shubham Garg signing off. Okay, see you later in another webinar. Till then, bye bye.